Hello everyone, Katie Sutton here, intuitive channel and founder of Zen Within Academy, ready to give you the February energy update. We have three important themes that we're going to discuss today: the balance of effort and ease, the understanding of instant manifestation, and a change in perception that will allow us to open our crown and third eye chakras even further. So stay tuned for the rest of the update. So, as I mentioned, we have a continued look at balance of effort and ease, right? So we've started this theme in months prior where we have begun to really recalibrate our understanding of the divine masculine and divine feminine within each of us. What's going to start to happen this month is that's going to get louder and bigger. So if there are any patterns that you're holding that would keep you in the wounded masculine, being an over effort, being an over busy, forcing things, or in the wounded feminine, being in victim mode, pulling back, not using your voice, not being sure, and not using your discernment and your intuition, those patterns are going to get very loud as we move into February. So we had a bit of a reprieve and a recalibration that took place in the December and January months. And now we are back into this rebalancing effect that has been taking place for quite some time, since 2012. And so we're seeing it on a macrocosmic level, that there are things, 3D structures that were maybe built in the more wounded masculine effort and lack of ease mentality that are starting to crumble. And for each of us on an internal level, every time some system that we have calibrated into is called into question, we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to either stay where we are and be in fear and worry about the things that are shifting, or allow our perception to change. And that takes me to the second theme of this month. We are going to get more and more lessons about change in perception. So what that really might look like for you is you might have one day where you are in fear and worry mode, and then you have a next day where you feel like you're kind of in between, right? You're not really in your body, you're having a bit of a timeline shift. And then the day after, you might be fully in joy, fully in the fifth dimensional consciousness and frequency and loving life, right? And so this kind of roller coaster that we've been on of really significant shifts that are happening faster and faster is going to continue. And the way that we anchor into a consistent perception of our reality, meaning staying in fifth dimension or getting locked into third dimension, is by aligning and opening our heart chakra. And so as our heart chakra continues to open, one of the things that's going to happen this month is as the heart chakra opens further and recalibrates further to these higher dimensional frequencies, the third eye and the crown will also be activated this month. And so what we're going to see is, whereas in January we were working on the lower half of the body, we were working on the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, the root chakra, and even further down, this month we're going to now have a recalibration of those upper energy centers. And if you remember from my past energy updates, I shared that the heart is the bridge between heaven and earth. So the heart is constantly opening and closing and opening and closing for many of us to either the third dimensional frequency where it drops in, or the fifth dimensional frequency where it opens up. And so as that heart is constantly recalibrating, we're going through a bit of a roller coaster in our other energy centers. And so last month that looked like very much of a shift in our physical body and our perception of our power. This month, it's going to be a change in perspective of our intuitive abilities. So we're going to start to get more and more downloads from higher self and source, and it's going to be up to us to discern if that's something that we'd like to take action on, right? And so that focused action is being in the divine masculine. Listening to our intuition is being in the divine feminine. So this change in perception is also going to work with this recalibration of the divine masculine and feminine energies that are happening at the heart chakra. So as our heart continues and continues to open, we're going to have more and more access to that fifth dimensional frequency where we are fully connected to higher self and source. As that happens, we're going to start to see more and more instant manifestation, which is my third theme that I want to share with you. So I had this happen to me this month where I was in a very high frequency. I was leading a workshop, had a great weekend, and then I did a session on someone, and at the very end of the session, after I had completed the work, I made a comment that was not in alignment with my frequency. And instantaneously, I felt a full body shift in frequency by that one comment. And it wasn't so bad that I fell over or had any extreme reaction, but it was a palpable change in my physical and energetic being as soon as I made that one comment. And so what I realized is that they were giving me a little preview of what you all are going to start to experience this month, where in an instant, the words that we speak are going to begin to change our reality. So that's always been the case, but there's normally been a bit of a lag time, right? So when we were in a lower frequency vibration as a collective, when we were more anchored into 3D and 4D dimensional frequency, that lag time was longer and longer. But as we move into higher and higher frequencies up to the 5th dimension and beyond, we start to release the constraints of time altogether. And so we have access to instant manifestation. So many of you are going to get a preview this month of what that looks like. And I say preview because we don't have full access to instant manifestation because, quite frankly, we still have too much fear running through our bodies at any given moment. We still have too many things that would limit and lower our vibration so that if we did have access to instant manifestation, it wouldn't be a great outcome. Right? Because if you remember that the energy field and the vibration that you're at controls your external reality, then you understand that you want to have a high frequency if you're going to have instant manifestation, because otherwise we're going to be manifesting not so great things for ourselves. So this month you're going to start to see a preview, and likely how it will show up is you'll be having a wonderful day, and then all of a sudden you'll see something on the news, or you'll have a conversation with a friend, or you'll look on your social media feed and something will be of a lower frequency that you look at. And many of you that are especially empathic are going to feel an actual shift in your frequency in real time. Right? And so this is how they're going to start to help us to understand what instant manifestation looks like. Okay? So it's important to take the lesson. And one of the things that happened to me when this occurred a few weeks ago is that I started to judge myself, right? I went immediately into judgment about the fact that I had lowered my frequency by making a comment that I shouldn't have made. And that judgment actually kept me in that low frequency for 11 days. I moved through a ton of density in that period, though. It was a hugely beneficial purging for me, but it wasn't very comfortable. And so if you do find yourself being in a high frequency and then all of a sudden allowing a shift because you've made a statement or watched something on TV or you've really anchored into something that's a lower frequency, don't judge yourself. Immediately, as soon as you notice the shift, close your eyes and take a deep breath into your heart center. And imagine a flow of energy, of forgiveness energy, coming in from the crown of the head and moving through the body, through the heart chakra, expanding the heart chakra, and then dropping down into the lower half of the body. And so by taking the time to pause, as soon as you feel that frequency shift, you're going to be able to recalibrate, right? So the heart chakra is our calibration of which dimension we're in. And so if we can choose in any given moment to recalibrate our heart chakra by bringing in the frequency of unconditional love or forgiveness, then we're going to have an easier time holding these frequency vibrations. So many of us have been on this roller coaster ride of feeling great and then not feeling great and feeling great and not feeling great. And it's really easy to get into self-judgment when we have a dip, right? Sometimes we have a dip in frequency because there's something that is at that lower level in our field that's maybe at the 3rd or 4th dimensional frequency that we need to move through. And if that's the case, then we need to dip down into that energy field perhaps sometimes to clear that out, right? So if you do find yourself getting stuck in the unconditional love and forgiveness frequency doesn't work to pull you out, the next thing that you do is surrender to the process. So you start to reconnect with your lower energy centers and ask the body, what does it need? what support is needed. Maybe you need to have a healing session. Maybe you need to meditate. Maybe you need to go for a walk in nature, right? So if that immediate recalibration doesn't take place, know that whatever you were interacting with or whatever comment you made that lowered your frequency likely had some truth to it, right? You had a frequency match in your field with that lower vibratory act or situation that you took part in. And it's an opportunity when you get triggered into that lower frequency to bring it forth to heal it, right? So if you find yourself getting stuck, number one, you're not stuck. You're just moving through a process of clearing that is going to eliminate these lower frequencies from your field, hopefully for good, right? So it's our job this month to be patient with ourselves, to be patient with those around us who might be triggering us, because it's never anybody else's fault if they're at a lower frequency than we are. So if you happen to be in conversation with someone and they bring up something that is triggering for you and you drop in frequency and you match them, then know that it's not their fault, right? That's just the frequency that they're operating at. And you are in, it's kind of like being in kindergarten. You're all being trained how to hold your frequency as the world around you is happening, right? Because that's really our superpower, especially as empaths. If we can align with a frequency and hold it in our body and feel it and have a visceral reaction of that frequency in our body, then we have the ability to really lock in, right? And when we lock in, we can then hold that frequency and give it to other people around us. So it's a beautiful understanding of where we're headed, and I hope that this energy update has been beneficial to you. We have some amazing things coming up within Academy. We've got 2 retreats happening in the month of April and then the month of June in Flat Rock, North Carolina. We also have an amazing Zen Within Adventures retreat that has a few spots left, where we're going to Mount Shasta in August. So if you want to get together with me in person and you're not local to the Charlotte area, the retreats are a great way to come and join us. We also have next Wednesday, February 12th, a wonderful energy healing circle where we're going to be focused on the third eye. And the reason why I'm focusing on the third eye this month is because this change in perception and perceiving these different frequencies and being really aware when you're moving back and forth, one of the abilities that we have to see that is actually with our third eye. So I'll be doing some activation there as well, so that you all can get some healing around your third eye and get activated to the highest frequency possible, and maybe turn on some of that clairvoyance that many of you are asking about. So I hope you will join us for one of those events. If not, I will see you back next month for our March energy update. Have a wonderful month. Keep those hearts open, and thanks for watching.